Hey Supernovas, this is Miss Kerr bringing you the week 24 preview. So we are continuing our ecosystems unit. Last week was the first week. This will be the second week. The only thing we have left after this is just review and test. So this is the last major bulk of the information. So just make sure you take your time and you do all the assignments. They're going to give you the background for the test. A lot of this information you learned in sixth grade, so this should be just a review. If you don't remember it, that's okay. That's why we're reviewing it. So the first one is this food webs and energy pyramids ed puzzle. Just make sure on the ed puzzle that you watch it till the very end. That way it generates a score in Canvas for your teacher. For the ecosystem relationships study guide, you're going to click on that. Remember that for these questions, you have 4 questions here. You're going to use the slides to help you answer that. So that went really quick. But all the questions should be able to be answered right after the questions here. So slide 1, 2, 3, and sorry, my screen's kind of bouncing around a little bit. If yours is doing that, you can always make this full screen like this and then go through those. This video will also help with that. It'll also explain those pyramids. And then you're just typing into a text box for that. All right, your next assignment is the ecological relationships ed puzzle. So you're going to click on an external link for that and then complete that ed puzzle. So yours is going to look a little different than mine. Yours is going to be a link that you can play the video in. That's an Amoeba's Sister video, and that's going to explain several things. So it's really important that you watch this before you do the next activity. So it's going to explain predator-prey relationship, competition, and then it's going to explain the 3 main symbiotic relationships, which are parasitism. So we've already learned about parasites. It's going to explain mutualism. So both organisms mutually benefit. And then commensalism is where one neither is harmed. So one benefits and the other is unharmed or not harmed. So just make sure you watch that. In order to do the next assignment here, this pixel art, you really need to have an understanding of those words. And those are right here. And like I said in the directions here, make sure you do that ed puzzle and or visit this Quizlet. This Quizlet also reviews all of those words. For this assignment, you're going to make a copy of your pixel art, and you might want to rename it, maybe your first name instead of copy of, that way you can find it easily. And what you're doing on this pixel art, if you haven't done one of these before, is you are typing your answer. The answers are right here. It's either predation, competition, mutualism, parasitism, or commensalism. So let's do the first one together. It says a type of bacteria lives in the roots of plants. The bacteria helps the plants obtain nutrients. The roots are a moist home, which helps the bacteria grow and reproduce. So you want to think of both of those organisms, the bacteria and the plant. And we gave you some hints on some of them. So our hint here is plants get nutrients, bacteria get a home. Well, those are both good things. And so that's going to be mutualism. So you're going to click on this box and you're going to type in mutualism. Type it correctly and hit enter. All right. And so then what you're going to see over here in your picture is the start of a picture. Okay. So as you enter the correct words, it's going to add to that pixel picture. And then you are just going to submit the assignment. So you're going to find that in your drive and submit that just like you would Google Slides. Okay. All right, the next assignment is your Google Meet. We're going to be going over the cycles of nature. So carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, water cycle. So again, you've heard of all these things. but it would be a good review for you. Limiting factors and carrying capacity may be new terms for you. This is another quick ed puzzle with some questions just to kind of remind you of what those things are. Limiting factors are something that limit a population, something like food. If there's not enough food in the particular ecosystem, some organism is going to die out, right? Whatever eats that food. So if that makes sense to you, hopefully. And then there's just a limiting factors Quizlet to help you with some of those words. Density dependent and independent factors. This can be a little bit tricky. So these are limiting factors that are based on the population and the population density. So for instance, New York City has a really high population density because it's a fairly small area for how large the population is. So you're going to click on there to make your copy, just like I'm showing you here. And you are going to just follow the directions. There are videos and some slides in here that are going to help you understand what things are density dependent. So if there is a high population density, or independent. So independent of the population, it's going to affect it anyways. Okay. And then on the very last slide, which is slide 12, you are going to classify these as either dependent or independent of population. So for instance, a cheetah runs very fast to catch a gazelle. So would that be population density dependent or independent? Some of these are really tricky. So if you have any questions, please talk to your teacher about them, email them. If you need some more information on that, we're happy to get that for you, okay? But the slides will definitely help on that. A lot of the answers are actually in the slides. All right. And then that's it. So mine went on to the next module. But yes, so week 24, those are your assignments. You roughly have 2 assignments per day, except that last day is that density dependent independent factors, because it's a little bit more tricky. Again, if you have any questions, please email your teacher, and hope you have a good week.